Welcome back to the Sober Sofa. My name is Shanti Patty Owen. I am your host for this channel where we discuss all topics related to addiction and sobriety. I have been working in the addiction recovery field as a sober coach and a sober companion since 2016, when I got sober from a plethora of addictions. Today's topic is exercise addiction. I thought it was appropriate since we are still in the midst of the Olympic Games of 2024. Very exciting. And as a former athlete, I just love the Olympics and I love exercise. And I was a bit hesitant to talk about exercise addiction, but then when I did a little bit more research, I realized that it has the highest mortality rate and the lowest recovery rate. It is extremely dangerous. Now, especially in America, we tout that exercise is a great healing agent. You can heal your body with the right amount of exercise. The right amount, that is the key. If you're working out a few hours a week, maybe 3 to 5 times a week, an hour each time, that's not an exercise addiction. People who have an exercise addiction work out 3 to 5 hours a day, 5 to 6 hours a week. And the reason that they work out so extensively depends on which type of exercise addiction you have. So there are 2 types of exercise addiction. The first exercise addiction that more people know about is called exercise bulimia. It is purging the calories that you ate. So instead of vomiting or taking laxatives to get rid of the food, get rid of those calories, exercise addicts will exercise to the extent depending on what they just ate. So it is a type of a purging. Exercise bulimia is more commonly found in young girls and women. Now, I'm going to tell you the second exercise addiction. It is called muscle dysphoria, also known as bigorexia. Bigorexia usually afflicts young boys, teens, men in their 20s and 30s that felt as they were growing up, they were maybe bullied because they were too skinny. So they have an obsession with getting bigger. It's never enough. Just as in girls can never be skinny enough, the boys can never be big enough. So they will eat 5,000 to 8,000 calories a day. So they're going on the opposite spectrum. They are overeating. A lot of them take steroids, which are extremely dangerous, and they constantly work out. I mean, there are some men who work out 6 to 8 hours a day to get as big as possible. Now, you might be wondering, well, what is the harm in over-exercising? There is a medical harm to over-exercising. Moderate exercises absolutely boosts the immune system. On the other spectrum, over-exercising depletes the immune system. In addition to that, people who over-exercise have a plethora of physical accidents, tendon pulls, they have bone breaks. The women tend to get osteoporosis. Some women who are exercise addicts find that they have osteoporosis starting in their 20s. It is an extremely dangerous addiction. How do you know you have an exercise addiction? Well, it's usually the people around you that will notice it before you do. So perhaps you miss family get-togethers because you've got to get to that gym and you've got to do that 3 to 4 hour workout. Perhaps you've lost romantic partners because you spend more time at the gym than you do with your significant other. We, at least in this country, are given lots of kudos. Atta boys, atta girl. Oh, you're working out. Great. You're looking fabulous. So we want to continue to get that validation. So don't ask the people in the gym if they think you're over-exercising. Here's why it's extremely challenging to get sober from an exercise addiction. Because a lot of behavioral addictions, you cannot stop them completely as you would alcohol or drugs. So we don't need alcohol and drugs to survive. However, we do need food to survive. So People who have that type of a process addiction have to constantly confront their addiction all day long. Every time they look at food, every time they contemplate going to the gym to burn off those calories, it's a constant struggle. It is very, very challenging to get sober from an exercise addiction. In the last 25 years, the instances of exercise addiction and eating disorders have skyrocketed, and they have made a correlation between the internet, social media, because what are we doing? We're posting pictures of ourselves. We're posting pictures of ourselves and how great our body looks and comparing our body to other people's bodies. And if a teenager already has a very delicate self-esteem and they've been bullied for the way that they look, whether they're overweight or they're underweight, exercise addiction seems to be the perfect solution, but it's not. If you find you're obsessed with your body mass, whether it's too small, too big, there are many, many ways you can get sober from an exercise addiction. There are therapists who specialize in exercise addiction as well as eating disorders. There are also rehabs that specialize in exercise addiction. I actually was surprised. I went to rehab in 2016, and I remember reading the intake form, and they said that we weren't allowed to exercise. And I thought that was really strange. And that was my first introduction to exercise addiction. And it didn't seem to bother most of us in the group, but there was one woman who was ballistic because she worked out twice a day. She worked out an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening every day. And so I did ask somebody at the end of that stint that I had there for rehab, what was the purpose of that? And they said, whatever someone's addiction is, we try to cover all the bases. And people who have exercise addiction, they use it not just to expel calories, they also use it not to deal with feelings. And in rehab, that is one of the gifts of rehab, is we actually get to look at some buried feelings and traumas that have been with us for much of our life. If you'd like more information on exercise addiction, please send me an email, sobersofa@gmail.com, sobersofa@gmail.com. Thank you everybody for coming back. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, for hitting the bell notifications, and for forwarding my videos to anybody you think that could benefit from this. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again.